Welcome back, y'all, man. We're cracking in the first day of April today, man. April Foolio's Day in full effect. But no fooling around today, man, because Rodney Hudson, man, he restructures his deal for the Raiders. We're going to get right into that, man. My question being, before we get into it, though, is Gabe Jackson next, man? Because Gabe Jackson, he has that 9.6 they want to clear, maybe restructure that deal, and Gabe Jackson does not get cut from the team, which would be a huge asset, so I'm wondering if this sets the table for other players, like a Gabe Jackson, so to say, to take a pay cut. So thoughts on that. First things first, we'll just jump right into the deal here, man. So this is according to Pro Football Talk, I believe, right here. So the Raiders open up some cap space by reworking the contract of center Rodney Hudson. Now, Field Yates of ESPN, he reports the team has converted $11.6 million of his fully guaranteed base salary into a signing bonus. The move clears $9.28 million of cap for 2020 and pushes the rest into the future. So, and then also, here's a key point, too. This is what gets a player. This is how you entice a player right here. The contract was set to run through 2022. Yates reports that the restructure added a pair of voidable years beyond that point as a way of further to stretch out the cap hit. So, another brilliant move by Tom Delaney out there, reworking those contracts. Mike Mayock, with the charisma and all that, man, these guys are all business all day, man. So, give me your thoughts on that. Of course, I'm sure everybody's ecstatic about that. Everybody, my cousin texted me immediately. As I was recording this, he's texting me. He's like, "You see that Rodney Hudson already restructured his deal?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, this guy's the ultimate team player, man." And man, what a Raider move right there. So once again, next is Gabe Jackson going to be the next guy. Now with this clearing of some cap space, we know that's going to help out with the rookie class. I believe they say about anywhere from 9 to 12, maybe even 13 million. That pretty much covers your rookie class. But before we get into that, man, we're still in free agency, so I want to get thoughts on Daniel Carlson, man, and how most of you feel about him lining up and kicking field goals for the Raiders. Now, kicker's a crucial position for me. I mean, growing up with guys like Jeff Jager, and then later on, Sebastian Janikowski comes along, and I know Janikowski did have his moments where he missed clutch kicks, but the key part with Janikowski is he had the big legs, so if you needed that 55-yarder in a clutch moment, you had that ability to line him up and possibly nail a game-winning field goal. And Janikowski had his moments, and he had a long tenured career. With Dan Bailey, he's already off the market. That was probably one of the better kickers you wanted to get in free agency because he had the big leg as well. But with Steven Gostkowski, man, getting released by the Patriots, and I'll pull up his stats here. With him getting released by the Patriots, these are only his last 5 years, so it's this. I put this out there with Sports Info Solutions because they show trends in the last 5 years, which is something I think is a key essential when you're looking at a player and the performance and all that. So, but my point being is that when you have a player like Gostkowski, his numbers aren't all that great. His percentages are very similar to most kickers in the NFL, but with the Raiders, playing on the road in Kansas City, Denver, those could be cold weather, windy games. Gostkowski's your guy to kick in those elements. Daniel Carlson, man, he showed his leg wasn't all that in Denver last year. I mean, last year, that was kind of a shaky moment in Week 17 for Daniel Carlson. I felt like, if he makes a field goal and an extra point, we're probably either tied or winning that game and finishing the season 8-8. And a kicker can make the difference of 1 or 2 games easily for a franchise. And I think at this point, with the way things are going and how deep this draft is, you got to remember Denver Broncos, they're getting better. Kansas City Chiefs, they just came off an AFC Championship appearance with Patrick Mahomes and a Super Bowl win with Patrick Mahomes. So they're going to get better in this draft, and the Broncos are going to get better in this draft, just like the Raiders are going to get better in this draft. So sometimes we're having arguments about players and what level they can play on. It's really important that the Raiders take it to that next level because those teams are going to hit that next level as well. And anyway, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on it. I'll even pop up Daniel Carlson's numbers here. They're not all that bad. But, of course, he had that shaky start with the Minnesota Vikings, which got him released. 3 missed field goals that got him released early on. The Raiders take him on. And, he was solid. I'm just going to use the word solid. Last year, he probably had one of his better years, that started to shape up his career a little bit. But is Daniel Carlson worthy of being the Raiders kicker in 2020, or do you want a vet? Do you want a vet that's going to get the job done? One more, though. I'll give you my kicker in the draft. Rodrigo Blankenship from the Georgia Bulldogs, man. That guy's, there's something about his demeanor that just reminds me of a Sebastian Janikowski. He doesn't have the powerful leg like Seabass, but Blankenship, man, there's just something about him. He just looks like he's geared and ready for the NFL. And so anyway, but he's my pick. Maybe undrafted, maybe a seventh rounder, maybe a sixth rounder. Who knows? But anyway, give me your thoughts. I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. We're going to do round 2 in the draft league. I'll catch you later on today, man. Have a blessed one. I'm out. Peace.